So I wanted to take a quick departure from culture and development to talk a bit about mental mental illness, mental disorders, living with mental disorders, and the the isolating um, effects that they have on people with mental disorders that don't necessarily have anything to do directly with the disorder or the illness that mental mentally ill people may be suffering from in a general way. So, um, just to tell a bit of a story, I've I don't anymore, but I used to watch an internet podcast on YouTube called the Drunken Peasants, and just kind of like a very lowbrow show that was sometimes funny. And they had a segment on the show called Crazy People, and it was a mix of people who had crazy political views, extreme political views, people who are just laughable, and some people who are clearly mentally ill. Um, Gail Gail called Schuler, I think her name is a good example. Anyone who's watched the show will know plenty of others. I guess G Time Johnny's a good one as well. We could probably say Mario, the Vigilant Christian, could be another one. But just to take Gail, I mean, I'm not a psychiatrist, but to me, she seems to be someone who shows clear signs of schizophrenia, or at least psychosis. This is a person who has crazy sexual fantasies of her with dozens of famous male celebrities, to say the least. I mean, she talks about a lot more crazier stuff than that. And something that arose on the show quite a few times, was whether interaction with these people is a good thing. They would play a video of someone like Gail Cord Schuler and sort of laugh at her, poke fun at her. Not necessarily in a mean way, but is that something that you should do? And I think an important consideration, and why I'm even talking about this, is because I think it's a interesting view into the the isolating effects that a debilitating mental illness like schizophrenia can have. I think that's really something that people overlook when they think of mental illness. So someone who might suffer from first of all, schizophrenia is one of the most debilitating mental disorders. It's actually a mood disorder. It's not a mood disorder. It's a language disorder, or a thought. You could say it's a thought disorder. But it's very debilitating. It not only people who have it suffer disorganized, negative, positive symptoms. They suffer psychosis. They often have to be institutionalized for long periods of time. But they're also much more likely to suffer from depression. They're much less likely to be employed. They're much more likely to be homeless. I mean, you can just go down the list. They're much more likely to have other drug issues, domestic abuse issues. And I think this is a disease that makes you, I think 1 in 2 people who are schizophrenic attempt suicide in their life. So that's it's very high. I think that's probably the highest population, the highest rates of attempted suicide in any population, as far as I know. That's incredibly high. So it's a very very serious thing, but also because of all of these other issues around that sort of come with schizophrenia, like the homelessness, lack of employment. A lot of these people don't also suffer terribly from loneliness. They don't. They're not able to have normal relationships, normal friendships. And if you just consider all of those things that come with an already debilitating disorder that leaves you institutionalized for long periods of time, you would be very lonely. It'd be very difficult to have to make connections with people. So I do think that even though on that show, the Drunken Peasants, they were sort of laughing at these people, I do think in a way it's actually a very, very positive thing, because it gives these people a way to interact with the world. And I think that's potentially very liberating for them.